And a good Saturday morning to you. It's the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Tuned in. Got a lot of stuff to get to as the morning goes on. Let's take a quick look at some of the scores from last night. A game you heard right here on Max 98.3. It was LaVille winning the sectional title by a final of 49-6 over West Central. We'll talk to Jeff Kaiser in a little bit about his team and dominating performance last night. Girls basketball is in full swing. CGA took a win last night over Wabash, 54-21. We'll talk to Bill Murchie about his team as well, coming up a little bit later this morning. And then on the schedule tonight for girls basketball, Glenn will take on Fairfield. It'll be New Prairie against Bremen. And Argus will play CGA. We'll get everything started here in a moment. You're listening to Max 98.3, Saturday Morning Coaches Show.
Absolute Plumbing, Heating, Cooling of Plymouth has become one of the leading service companies in northern Indiana. Serving Marshall, Stark, St. Joe, Fulton, LaPorte, Elkhart, and Kosciuszko County since 2014. They specialize in residential, commercial plumbing, heating, and cooling services. They also handle drain cleaning, water heater repair, commercial refrigeration, furnaces, generators, and much more. And they're the area's only York brand dealer. That's why Michiana has made Absolute Heating and Cooling their one-stop shop for service needs. Locally owned and operated with over 20 years of experience in the trade. Visit their website at absolutephc.com for complete service information. Absolute Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, the area's top York brand dealer.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little portion. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Culver's Portside Marina handles all water and recreational needs. When it comes to pontoons, Godfrey leads the industry in performance and quality, and Portside Marina has them in stock. From Sanpan, Aqua Patio, Sweetwater, and Monaco pontoons, if you're looking for a family boat, Culver's Portside Marina can help. Discover the evolution of the wake boat through luxury models offered from Centurion and Supreme Surf Boats. Yamaha Wave Runners and Kawasaki jet skis are on the showroom floor waiting. Located at 514 West Mill Street in Culver. Stop in or call them at 574-842-5000. Culver's Portside Marina.
Nick Amore, head basketball coach at LaVille, joins me in this segment. And let's talk about the game last night a little bit. You just told me you had a chance to watch some film. I mean, break it down for me. What'd you see?
Yeah. Ultimately, I think it comes down to Plymouth's intensity level to start the game a lot higher. And we only got 2 to 3 passes every possession before we took a shot. So between their intensity level and us not being patient, it just didn't make for a good outcome.
I think, a lot of it, too, maybe is just getting up to game speed. I mean, you, like we talked about earlier, you'd had all the practice, but you're facing each other, seeing somebody else across from you that's different and has different skills. It's got to be a little bit of adjustment getting used to that.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I like having these non-conference games before conference goes. it's a good opportunity to get a feel for what the speed of the game is going to be like. You know, the other big glaring piece to last night is we had 26 turnovers, and we were scoring. We had about 39% shooting percentage. So, you know, you cut those turnovers in half. Or even if you take, 30% of those turnovers and you turn them into points, that's 20 points. So, it's just, it's a compound effect there. What I would really like to see just a better job of from my girls is when we have those, you know, moments where we're struggling to maybe meet game speed offensively, we're still locked in defensively and always at the level of intensity that I expect. And we just had a lot of lapses last night, so we're going to work on that.
I was going to say the turnovers on both sides, you know, were a little bit higher. I'm higher than I'm sure you wanted, but I mean, just a little bit up there. And once again, those are times that you have the basketball that most of those, you don't even get a shot off, which, you know, like you can't have that.
Yeah, no, you can't. And a lot of them are just simple. There were a lot of missed travel calls last night, and there were a lot of made travel calls last night. I mean, it was just, it wasn't great, clean cut basketball. But, you know, like I said, Plymouth did a good job executing. Got to hand it to them. They were disciplined. They had a game plan. They went in and ran it, and we just need to be able to combat, you know, some of those offensive errors with better defense.
I'm sure you saw some things that you liked too. I mean, let us know what do you feel you did best last night?
Yeah, I think that once we actually settled in and reversed the ball a few times, I think our offense looked great. I think we got lots of looks, lots of opportunities. You know, even in the fourth quarter, there's 4 minutes, 41 seconds left. We hold them to 8 points and we go on a 14-point run. You know, things like that where you see glimpses of, okay, this is what we can do. You know, there's a couple possessions at the beginning of the third quarter where I felt like we just really locked in. Our defensive intensity was up. We kept people in front of us, and we came up with the ball at the end of the possession. Those are things that I want to focus on and highlight so that the girls can see that's what we're capable of. But we've got to do it for 32 minutes, not 10 to 12 minutes.
I was going to say, it looked like you made some nice adjustments at certain times. I thought the beginning of the third quarter, and then again, actually late in the ball game, you were able to get some adjustments made and go on some pretty good runs.
Yeah, I mean, there was I think it was like 6 minutes left in the fourth. We were down 16 at one point. So, you know, there's just, you clean up some of those things. And then last piece of the puzzle is you got to knock down free throws when you get opportunities.
Yeah.
And, you know, we put Plymouth at the line, I think, 23 times. So that's just giving away easy points. Out of those 8 points that they scored in the last 4 minutes, 6 of them were and ones.
Yeah.
So, you know, you clean some of those things up and it's a different ballgame.
Let's talk about your girls a little bit, too. I thought Faith had a great second half for you, and I see why you missed her so much last year when she was hurt.
Yeah, she did. She finally found the basket and played with the level of intensity that I know she can play with. And, yeah, she shot well toward the end of the game. I thought she did step it up that second half. I thought Ava Weil and Maddie Singleton both had great games. They filled their roles. They did what I needed them to do. And all around, they were at a consistent level the entire game. And so if I can get Faith to be consistent for the entire game, get Denny to fill in that mix, Denny Markin, and then get Morgan Schmidt to fill in her role at a higher level, then I think we'll be operating pretty well.
I was going to say, I thought certain stretches of the game, Maddie kind of took the game on her shoulders, either defensively or offensively, and did a lot of really good things to get you back into the game.
She did. And that's what we gotta, we gotta take that momentum that she gives us. We gotta take those possessions where she just comes up with it. She's got that defensive intensity, and we've got to ride on that momentum and take advantage of it rather than just letting it kind of fizzle out.
I know you don't have a ton of folks on your roster, but I felt like the girls you brought in off of the bench gave you some good minutes too.
Yeah. Chloe came in, didn't do too bad. Reagan and Sydney Williams, Reagan Strang and Sydney Williams, both, they got a minute or 2 minutes. I acknowledge it's hard to come off the bench, give 2 minutes, and then go right back to the bench. That's a really hard role to fill, and I think they did it the best way that they could do it. We just, it's not going to be a real deep bench throughout the season until we get some experience under our belts.
You got a killer schedule coming up too. It looks like you're on the road the next 3 as well: Northwood and Jimtown and Valley. It's a pretty rough road to hoe.
Hey, that's all right. That's it. Adversity. If you take adversity in strides and you take it on with a level of commitment, discipline, and a great mindset, then adversity can be a route to success. And I think that's just what we have to show is you got to take on hard things, and you got to do hard things in order to win at a higher level. And really in order to cut down nets at the end of the season. So I'm excited about our schedule. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's just going to make us better.
Talk about where you feel you're at. I mean, you finally have that game under your belt, and you had an idea where you were going to be at this point. Do you feel comfortable with where you're at? You ahead of the curve, behind the curve? I mean, what do you think?
I feel like offensively, we're probably right where I thought we would be. Defensively, we need some work. And I think I'll feel a lot better after our film session today before practice. And then once we get out on the floor, start to see them implement some of the things we talk about. But yeah, we're going to do some studying and some classroom work a little more than we're going to be on the court today.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time again, and good luck to you as you run through this part of the schedule. We'll be running back into each other here just a little bit down the road. So thank you again for taking the time.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Rusty.
It's Nick Amor, the head girls coach at LaVille, and we'll be right back. When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank. We don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927. Looking for a stable career in an industry that doesn't slow down? Hoosier Racing Tire in Plymouth, Indiana, is seeking motivated people who believe in quality and want to work in a safe environment. With thorough training provided for all positions, no experience needed. Second, third, and weekend shift production wages start around $20 an hour, with potential at $25 an hour within a year. Quarterly bonuses, paid time off, and health insurance benefits that start on day one. Apply online at HoosierTire.com. That's HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Tire is an equal opportunity employer.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
And Bill Murchie joins us in this segment, head coach at Culver Academy. And just a second ago off the air, we were talking about it. It's hard to believe we're back, but it's good to have opening week, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun. It's a long 2 weeks when you're doing the preseason stuff, and then the first couple of weeks where you're just playing against each other and beating up on each other. And it's nice to get out and start playing some different people for sure.
Let's talk about your team first of all. I mean, I was looking at your roster. You got some familiar names, a bunch of seniors back that I'm sure are going to be a big help. Talk about your guys your girls, I guess, that are out there.
Yeah. No, we're pretty excited. We've got 3 seniors that are going to play a lot of minutes for us. Piper Brum, Amelia Binkley, and Kate Clemens all bring back varsity experience. Kate and Amelia have been basically on and off 2-year starters between the two of them because they're both posts. And then Brum's been a 4-year starter for us. So hard to believe that she's a senior, but pretty excited about those 3. And then, our junior class, there's 3 of them that play a lot of minutes. Lila Schreiber, Hannah Kresser, and then Mimi Smith. And then we'll have sophomore Haley Chapman that'll be in the mix and playing a little bit. And then a freshman, Lane Lyles, will start for us. And she'll be arguably one of our best players. So she's already got, I think, 7 Division I Power 4 offers. So pretty excited about her.
Let's talk about that mix too. I mean, you don't ever know who's coming back from year to year either. I know I talk with Andy about this all the time. I mean, until you get to preseason practice, you really aren't sure you're going to have everybody back.
Yeah, boarding school is just a little different. It's challenging. 2 girls from last year that were really, really good. The Kayla Heron girl, she decided at spring break she was needed to get ready for AAU, and she was going to go train with the trainer every day. And, we can't do that here at Culver. So She opted to go home. And then the Jamera Combs girl, who again would have been a 2-year starter, 4-3, was started this year for us. She calls me on July 31st and just tells me, she's going to stay home and not come back to Culver. So yeah, it's tough, when, it's not like a school, like a public school where, I guess it's different now because the transfer portal's gone down to high school. And I mean, there's girls that are playing in their 3rd high school in 3 years, and some local girls. And it's pretty crazy with that. But, it's too bad when you lose a kid, but, it's just different opportunities for others. So we're excited about our team, and we're excited moving forward.
I got to believe, that it's tough for them too, because, in a lot of those cases, they're coming miles away to play. And I'm sure there's a little bit of that tug that says, man, I'd like to be home with mom and dad every night, but I can't be. And, it's a weird dynamic in some ways.
For sure. And sometimes, it's definitely challenging. Especially sometimes when parents are really hands-on and think they know what's best for the kids. So that at times makes it tough, but it's definitely a college prep school. Like it's going to get you ready for when you actually go to college. But the difference is you're doing it at 14 instead of 18.
Yeah, and it's a little early for that, but I know what you're saying, and it's a challenge. I think probably for you too, because in some cases, you're dad to these girls. I mean, literally, because, you're that male figure they have in their life that they trust and go to, I'm sure, with their problems. I mean, that becomes a little bit more than a normal high school coach, too.
Yeah, that's why one thing nice about us, we've got a bunch of coaches on staff that help with those types of things, help with those types of hey, I'm sick. I need some Tylenol. Can you run to Walgreens for me? It's like, yeah, we could probably make that happen. So it is different, but it's fun. And, the kids are great. And, I'm just blessed to have the job that I have.
Let's talk about your season. I was looking at your schedule too, man. Do you make your wife put your dinner at the end of an obstacle course? Because I'm telling you, that beginning schedule you've got is a killer. Valley,
Yeah,
Norwell, Northwood. It's all in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah. In Peru, they beat us last night, and we just couldn't get stops down the stretch. I think that's they're going to be a good team this year. They got 3 really good players, and Jenna's done a really good job kind of building that program and developing them. And Tippy speaks for itself. Norwell obviously won the state championship. We added them. I thought they were going to be in 3A again. I didn't realize that the 2-year cycle was always. So my thought process was like, hey, if we have success and we play well, we're going to have to see them anyway. So let's get them on the schedule and see if they'll play. Plus, I knew we were going out to Fort Wayne. So we're going to kind of make a night trip into that. So we're going to go out there, stay the night, play Fort Wayne North in the morning. So, and then, for Northwood, Fort Wayne North, and then Highlands, the rematch of the regional from last year. So it's tough, but at the end of the day, it's great opportunities for our girls to play and compete.
And you get a measuring stick too, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. And we're excited about this team. Obviously, really frustrated about dropping that one last night, but we're excited. We feel like this team could even be a little bit better than last year's team. It's just going to take some time for some of these kids that were playing JV to really understand. You can't make one-handed passes in a varsity game. You can't jog down the court in transition and not be matched up in a varsity game. You can do that at the JV level and still go. Our JVs were 19-1, 18-2 the last 2 years. You can do that in JV games and be okay. But in a varsity game, it doesn't work. And that's why you end up losing games at the varsity level.
Talk about that a little bit too, because you solidified my memory. I remember you had a really good JV team. Early going, that might be a little rough, but once they get used to game speed, it seems like that'll be a big bonus too, that you had a really good JV season a year ago.
Yeah. We take pride in both our levels being real competitive, and we quarter kids and just try to maximize the playing time. So thinking about girls that are stepping up from JV, you look at Hannah Kresser. She was I think a 3-quarter JV, 2-quarter varsity girl last year. She's a starter for us now. Lila Treber was a 3-quarter JV, 2-quarter varsity girl last year. She played maybe the most minutes on the game last night just for her tenacity and the rebound and all those things. So those 2 girls especially. Sophia Dickey's going to be a girl that's going to be in the mix for us. She's a junior. She was a 4-quarter JV girl last year. So, for us, it's our JVs and our varsities do the same thing. And, we're trying to make sure that we streamline it so that, that 1 year they can play JV, the next year they can compete at the varsity level.
Talk about your start a little bit. It was last night, I believe, was your opening night, and, tough win in overtime. But, assess, you finally have something you can, other than, like you said, beating up on each other, to assess where you're at. What did you see, first of all, that you liked?
Yeah, so a couple things. One, we scored 54 points without Lane Lyles, and she got hurt in the scrimmage. I realistically think she's a 16 to 25 point scorer night in, night out for us. She's that type of athlete. She's that type of player. So for us, Mimi Smith scored 19 for us last night. Piper Brum scored 12. Hannah Kresser scored 8. So scoring offensively, I actually felt pretty good about where we were at with who we were missing. But for us defensively, so we're going back to the drawing board. We are going, our goal's 36 or under. We give up 58 in our first game. So, we are going to spend a lot of time over the next couple of weeks talking about defensive breakdown, and don't leave ball side corner on a shooter, guys, for the 19th time. So But, kudos to Peru. They shot 8 for 14 from 3 last night. They were 14 for 16 from the free throw line. No, it's crazy. We had more rebounds, less turnovers, more shot attempts. What else did we beat them in? We had 36 points in the paint, 17 points in transition. But we shot 5 for 18 from 3. They shot 8 for 14. They shot 14 for 16 from free throw. I think we shot 5 for 8. So, I think it was 38 of their points came from free throws and 3-pointers, and we just didn't get that. We had 36 points in the paint, so threes at the end of the day are going to be more than twos.
It's got to make you feel good to get that many points in the paint, though. I mean, basically, if you can get that entry pass, you got a good shot at making a bucket.
Yeah, I mean, and truthfully, they sat in a zone the whole night. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing. It's been hard for me as a coach. Is that I want to play man. I want to be aggressive. I want to play fast. And then we get down on offense and the team sits in a 2-3 or 3-2. Yeah. And it's challenging because then the way the game's officiated is different. Because if one side of the game is aggressive and physical and in my mind playing the right way, and the other side of the court's just sitting in the zone and just saying, well, if you make shots, we'll let you beat you, and we're not going to foul you, then we're not going to get to the free throw line. So there's a lot. We're trying to figure some things out and still try to be aggressive without fouling.
I don't know how a football coach feels when they run that wing tee.
Yeah,
just pound the middle.
Yep, I tell you about that wing tee. I actually grew up playing football for Coach Moore, and he kept brought that wing tee to Indiana. So I love it. Smash mouth football, man.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me, and I'm sure I'm going to be bugging you more than once over the rest of the year, and good luck to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for getting on.
It's Bill Murchie, head coach at Culver Academy, and we'll be right back.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
MCF got its start in 2018 with one goal: bring fast, reliable fiber internet to Marshall County. Today, we offer lightning-fast speeds, equal upload and download with no contracts and no install fees. Whether you're working from home or streaming all night, Marshall County Fiber keeps you connected. We might be the new kid on the block, but we're growing fast, just like our internet. Visit marshallfiber.com or call 574-223-2191. MCF, making rural connections possible.
McDonald's restaurants in Plymouth and Bremen, Indiana are now owned and operated by local residents Bill and Flo Bolt. Bolt Enterprises are proud to own and operate all 4 McDonald's restaurants in Marshall County. Become part of the McDonald's family today with Bolt Enterprises McDonald's.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
And Michaela Shalio-Jones, head coach of the Plymouth Lady Pilgrims. That's a good win you got last night. And they're a solid team, and you got to take a lot of good positive things away from that.
Yeah, we're definitely glad to get win number 1 underneath our belt, especially at home, taking care of our floor. We knew Laville was going to be physical and not back down, so I'm glad our girls were able to stay the course. There were some opportunities where we could have put them away, but at the end of the day, we're young, don't have a ton of experience yet. So it's just some learning curves for us, and we'll get there.
I'm sure one of the points of emphasis is going to be turnovers. I'm sure there's a lot more there than you would have liked to have, but it is game one. How much of that was just game one, getting used to game speed?
Sure, second half especially, they were doing some things that, especially in the fourth quarter, that were kind of rushing our girls. And we just have to be able to play at our speed and not let an opponent rush us and speed us up. So I would call some of those turnovers, a lot of them actually, unforced turnovers. Our girls just have to stay locked in. And we worked a lot on practice on Friday about catching, turning, and facing, not putting the ball on the ground first thing we do when we catch. And first of all, just catch the ball. We had a lot of bobbled passes Thursday night that we've got to clean up, and we will, because it is going to be a point of emphasis all year long, for sure.
Talk about the things that you liked. What do you feel you did best?
I really, really liked our press. I thought our girls were active out of it. Our top defenders with the start of the diamond trap, Chloe did a great job reading passes into the middle, being able to intercept some, making passes to the sidelines difficult as well. And then our backside rim protector did a great job of contesting shots, and we rebound out of it. So even on the times where we weren't able to force a turnover, we forced a quick shot out of it, and things went well the other direction because of that. When we played in the half-court defense, that's where we struggled a little bit, just because we were more relaxed. If we can get our girls to play faster and they're not forced to actually think, then they're playing basketball.
Yeah, that's the case in anything. That's why you get all that repetition work in practice, because it's got to be mindless. You just have to react and not think about it. Otherwise, you're going to be a step slow.
Absolutely. And, for a lot of our girls, they've taken a step up, whether that's JV girls playing in a varsity game now, or even Hayden Shipley transferring from 8th grade basketball now to varsity. For our JV girls going from 8th grade basketball to JV basketball, it's a difference of speed. So just getting them adjusted to that speed and that physicality is a learning curve. But that just shows our girls kind of the speed and the physicality that we need to play with in practice. So that way it's easier for us in games.
Talk about the things that maybe you weren't so happy with. I mean, what's going to be the focus of practice upcoming this week?
Sure. Our spacing wasn't great offensively in the half court. And then the timing of our passes. We were standing out on the perimeter, kind of just waiting for the ball to reverse to us. So we worked a lot on Friday about timing our cuts, creating space to get open, and being physical, both to get open, but also finishing at the rim. And that's just something that we need to embrace and know that we can't shy away from, because teams will capitalize and they'll identify if we want to shy away from contact, which, we did, and that caused the majority of our turnovers. So we'll clean some of that stuff up, and, it's going to be interesting, at least if Marion plays the way last year they did. They're a zone team, so LaVille was all man, and Marion was there at our LaVille game watching what we do, so they'll see the press, and we'll clean up the press a little bit, but as far as half-court stuff goes, none of what we did they were able to see, thankfully. That will apply to Tuesday night.
Let's talk about some of your players. I thought Lydia, she was our player of the game for you guys, and really came out of the gate, and I felt like really kind of took the game on her shoulders for a while until everybody settled in. And, I had her for 12 points and 8 rebounds and a couple of assists. I mean, she had a nice night.
She absolutely did. I think I was trying to think a way of describing Lydia from Thursday night's game, and I think just quiet leader is a good way to describe the way that she played. She kind of just allowed her calmness and her presence on the court to help relax some of our other teammates, and she played well on the offensive end. She played well on the defensive end for us. First half, she already had 7 boards, so we had her for 9. We'll look at that. But she was huge on the glass for us. And then offensively, she was able to break past the defender's hip and get a paint touch for us, whether that was a bucket going up for herself or a kick out to her teammate. I thought Lydia really played well, and her poisoness on the court was exactly what we needed. Now the next challenge for her or Chloe or Liv Warner, we need a vocal leader on the court. And when things aren't going our way, someone, preferably more than one person, pull the team together and get them relaxed, because we can't take a timeout every time things aren't going well on the court. And our girls know that basketball is a game of runs. So sure, we're going to face those moments, but we have to be able to remain calm in the storm, and then, go on our own run as well.
I was impressed with your freshman, Hayden Shipley. I thought had especially nice floor game. I had her for a bunch of rebounds and steals, and, she doesn't play like a freshman.
She's very physical, and I think, her physicality will help some of our returners with their physicality in practice as well. The speed that she plays at, and her physicality allows her to play on the varsity court as a freshman. She played excellent for us in the scrimmage Monday night, and then last night she was down on herself a little bit, and that showed with some of her turnovers. But I think she just needs to learn that she has girls around her that can play with her. She's playing with girls who are older than her, so just building that chemistry in the offense will be key. She'll be great for us defensively every single game, but she can contribute offensively for us, and it's just, allowing things to click in practice and then building that chemistry up so that way it's fluid in games.
It's pretty obvious that Chloe's number one on the scouting report, and will be all year long. They were making a concerted effort to make sure she didn't beat them, but I think the thing that impressed me with her is she found other ways to help, and did a real good job.
Rusty. Absolutely. We've told her she's going to be at the top of any opponent's scouting report. They're going to try to run her off the 3-point line. And she didn't shoot the ball well from the 3-point line, but you're exactly right in the fact that she did other things. We talked at halftime, don't let them speed us up in the half court and take 4 shots that are not within the offense. Chloe has a green light to shoot anytime it's within the offense, and it's a rhythm shot, but they were closing out so hard so quickly on her. She learned from that, and then in the second half, she was curling off of screens and getting into the paint, and she was so productive with 2 feet, playing off 2 feet in the paint, whether that was her scoring at the rim or playing out of a kick out from there and letting her teammates do some work. So even though her 3 wasn't falling, she was still leading scorer for us. She had 7 boards, 5 steals. Yeah. She did all the things that her teammates needed to do. One thing that I loved out of Chloe was, she was diving on the floor for loose balls. And that's what we need to see. So that was awesome.
Yeah, I think you just got a lot of nice pieces too. Peyton did some things for you. Olivia was good. She shot the ball when you needed her to shoot it. You got some folks that can help you out all the way up and down.
Absolutely. We do have some really nice pieces. Biggest key for us will be, staying the course, understanding that each day that we're in the gym, we need to get 1% better, and to trust that process, because I think even though we're young, we do have the ability to shock some teams if we stay together, because of the speed that we play at. So offensively, we'll continue to learn about our spacing and our passing and the timing of all of it. But I will say, Rusty, I know teams are going to be prepared for it now that they've seen it, but, that diamond press looked pretty darn good, and I'm proud of our girls and the effort that they were able to play 4 quarters with it.
Let's talk a little bit about the week coming up. You already mentioned Marion and you got Michigan City as well on the way, both of those on the road. Probably too early to really know much of anything about either one of them, but once again, it's going to be physical. They're going to have some athletes, and you're going to have to bring your A game.
Absolutely. Marion's first game is Saturday, today, as we speak on the phone. Yeah. And Mike Megacy, the old Michigan City coach, is at Westville, and that's who Marion plays today. So we've reached out to him. Hopefully we'll be able to get that film as soon as that game finishes so we can start preparing. But we're also clipping some of our stuff from last year against Marion. We know that they're a zone team, and we know that they have two girls above 6 foot inside the paint. So for us, the key again will be make things difficult from their guards, so that way they don't get easy passes into the post players, because that will be difficult for us. You know, we don't really match up size wise with teams, but you know, where we don't beat teams in size, we can beat them in the speed and the pressure that we can play with. So that's going to be huge for us. And then I was impressed with our girls on the glass Thursday night against LaVille. That was another key that we had said all year long. Rebounding is going to be huge for us. And our guards, you know, reading the ball well off the rim was exactly what we needed. It'll be interesting Tuesday night with the difference in size that Marion has compared to LaVille. Will that be a factor? Right. Hopefully not. And hopefully we can get the ball out quickly and not let them set up in their half-court zone, just because anything in the paint will probably be difficult for us just given their size. So we got to be able to move the ball quickly and not put the ball on the floor too much. We did a lot of dribbling Thursday night, and we need to understand that the ball moves faster through a pass than a dribble. And then, you know, we'll focus Marion for Tuesday night, and then Wednesday night we get our second day with our little sisters. So we have our program Big Sis, Little Sis. And so after practice Wednesday night, our little sisters, kindergarten through 8th graders, will come in. They get a half-hour skill session work in, and then half-hour just meeting and connecting with some of our high school athletes. And the month of November, we go over, you know, things that they're thankful for, and then we post that on our bulletin board in the locker room. And that's something that we look forward to every year. And so we'll do work to prepare for Michigan City Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll enjoy Big Sis, Little Sis Wednesday night. And then we're on the road to Michigan City. We've always played them in the afternoon, but it turned into an evening game. So that'll be a test for us with a long trip, playing in the evening. And, you know, that game's going to be different than Tuesday, just as it always is. You know, Tuesday's his own. Michigan City's a man, and they're going to press us. They're going to be ball hawks, trying to trap us like crazy. So for us, no matter who we're playing, we just got to stay poised and not let teams dictate, you know, what we do. That'll be huge for us.
Well, good luck till you get a couple of wins. We'll see you again when Bremen comes into town, and we'll talk again a little bit down the road.
Awesome, Rusty. Thank you.
Michaela Shalio, head coach at Plymouth.
At Marshall County REMC, they are more than just your electric provider. They're your neighbors, your partners, and your connection to a brighter future. Since 1936, they have been powering homes, farms, and businesses with reliable service, innovative energy solutions, and a commitment to our community that never wavers. It's not just about keeping the lights on. It's about keeping our community strong. Marshall County REMC, powering progress, powering you. Learn more at marshallremc.com.
Absolute Plumbing, Heating, Cooling of Plymouth has become one of the leading service companies in northern Indiana, serving Marshall, Stark, St. Joe, Fulton, LaPorte, Elkhart, and Kosciuszko County since 2014. They specialize in residential, commercial plumbing, heating, and cooling services. They also handle drain cleaning, water heater repair, commercial refrigeration, furnaces, generators, and much more. And they're the area's only York brand dealer. That's why Michiana has made Absolute Heating and Cooling their one-stop shop for service needs. Locally owned and operated with over 20 years of experience in the trade. Visit their website at absolutephc.com for complete service information. Absolute Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, the area's top York brand dealer.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little portion. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Ryan Reese, head coach of the John Glenn Lady Falcons, joins me. Man, thanks for taking the time. I felt like I had to get a hold of you here early because I talked to your AD a couple of weeks ago, and it was right after your scrimmage. He says, "Man, they look good." So you know, he you got his endorsement already, but talk about your girls. I mean, it's got to be great to have opening week here.
Yeah, no, it has been. That scrimmage was good for us. We've been practicing a couple weeks, and I think that girls were tired of looking at each other. So it was very beneficial. So just kind of getting this group of girls together. We have a lot of girls who don't have a ton of varsity experience, but then we have a few that played some significant minutes last year for us. So just kind of trying to mesh that from the summer into the season. It really was good for us.
Well, I was looking at your roster, and I'm looking at a lot of girls that saw a lot of time on that varsity. I mean, you lost some key pieces, but you got a lot of juniors back. I mean, that had significant playing time.
Yeah, we were very fortunate that we had a senior group last year and a sophomore group last year that have been playing since such a young age. I mean, they all played together since they were grade on. So those are classes that were bigger classes that stuck with it. So, yeah, we were very fortunate. And the big thing for me last year was trying to make sure that I got some of those sophomores last year some playing time at the varsity level so that we didn't see the gaps in the program that sometimes we had seen in the past. So I was just trying to mesh that together a little bit better so that we can be competing more consistently within our schedule.
That, and I never thought of that until you mentioned it right there. I mean, in a bigger school like a Penn or somebody like that, I mean, basically your varsity should be seniors and then some juniors. But I mean, at a smaller school, if you don't get some sophomores mixed in there, at least from time to time, there is a gap in your program.
Right. And in the JV to the varsity level, in terms of the speed of the game, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Just as much as they got to adapt. So, yeah, we had two seniors this year. So that junior class last year is small. My sophomore group is also only 2. So, I have a couple different classes that are smaller. Luckily, my freshman class is pretty big, and they've been playing for a while. So it's worked out every other year so far.
Yeah, I was going to say, the common with big schools, freshmen play freshmen, sophomores play JV, and juniors and seniors play varsity. But at any school in Marshall County, you just can't do that.
Right? No, you're completely accurate.
Talk about your girls. I mean, are you where you wanted to be at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think we are. I think we're starting to look better together as a cohesive group. Mia Herford's going to have to pick up a lot of slack this year in the scoring. She did a nice job for us last year as a sophomore. And I think that she's going to continue that. She's a great player. She adjusts well to the game. So she's somebody that we're looking forward to having a great year. Andrea Weddington came off the bench a lot for us last year. I see her as being a key piece to what we do. She's very aggressive offensively and defensively. And so I feel like her playing time last year was more just slowing her down is why she was the 6th. But she could have got some starting time. So I feel like she's kind of adjusted to that now, the speed there. And I think she's going to be beneficial. And Ari Stanley, another senior for us, she's just all over the boards. I think she was averaging around 6 or so last year. And, the great thing about Ari is she loves her role. She doesn't care about the scoring part. She tries to score, but if it's available to her, but she really wants to break rebounding records. So that's a great thing to have when kids understand their roles and they want to do the best they can at the role to help the team. So we're very excited about that. Those 3 came back and they had significant time. Callie got some time for us last year. She actually was our top percentage-wise in 3-point field goals. So that helps a little bit, gives us some shooting on the outside as well. And then this year, Rory Winchell's going to have to handle the ball for us, we graduated Dana Devine, and so she's going to have to handle it for us a little bit. She's done a really good job this summer at taking care of it. And again, we're making adjustments to make it easier for her also to bring it down the floor.
That is such a big part of girls basketball. If you got a good point guard, you can do a lot of things.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we have role meetings and we talk to the girls. Actually, this last week we did it. It was a great opportunity for us and just said, hey, you just have to get us into what we need to get into, make sure the ball's where it needs to be, and just make sure the timing is there. And I said, it's not always going to look great starting off, but the whole point of this is to get better at it. So by the end of the season, we can compete for some hardware.
I was going to talk about your schedule with you too, but then I realized, you're used to that NSC or the Northern with Riley and all those people. I mean,
Right.
this is just run of the mill for you guys, but it is a tough one, man. You got Concord in there, you got St. Joe. I mean, it's a lot of good basketball teams in there.
Yeah, for some reason, apparently I wasn't the smartest. We picked up Westville last year and Marquette last year, and we dropped some of the NICs, but I guess we decided to pick up some of those. So, we do have. I mean, we kind of have an up and down schedule, but our ups are really higher level teams. I mean, St. Joe is always good and brought in a few more this year to help them out, and so that's kind of what our sectional too, like with CGA, they're able to grab some from all over. So it does make it difficult. But we're excited. I think our girls are going to compete. They want to play hard and they want to win. So I know that's going to give us a chance in every game.
I'm sure that your thought is, that prepares us for the tournament. If we're used to playing those people night in, night out, nothing's going to surprise us then tournament time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we are fortunate. I feel like we have a pretty high IQ. The girls have been playing long enough, most of these girls, that they understand the game. And so I feel like the more that we see the different defenses and things that people do to us, I feel like the better they'll adapt.
How have you felt about practice here so far? Are you where you want to be?
Yeah, you know what? We just have such a gap right now in terms of competition level. Our varsity goes against our JV a little bit. Our freshmen are going to be a solid group too, but it's just that experience of being at the high school. So that's been kind of difficult in terms of having low numbers at the varsity. We're going with about 8 right now at the varsity level, but it makes it a little more difficult to get that challenging atmosphere in practice. So we've been trying to mix up a few things in terms of our drill work to get that. But I feel like our older girls bring it every time. And so the nice thing is there's a consistency there that I don't think they don't care who they're competing against. They're going to bring the same level, the high intensity. And that makes it, that's what you want, right? Like, so I'm really excited about that for our girls. And I hope that it can continue on when we start here on Saturday.
I was going to say, once again, smaller school, you've got those numbers issues sometimes being able, I don't think people understand that it even affects practice when you don't have people out there because you got to, as well as I do, haven't played. It's the guys you practice against that make you a better player.
Absolutely. Yeah. And those are talks that we have before practices. We always talk about a little tidbit of life and practice. And that was actually something last week that we talked about in terms of you've got to continue to compete because it only makes you better, but it also makes our varsity better. It was more of our JV discussion. And even some of our varsity, we have 3 girls on the varsity this year who had 0 playing time last year. So they're just trying to get acclimated also and find some time to get minutes.
You open what? It's on Saturday, right? On the 8th against Fairfield?
Yes. Yes.
Talk about what you want out of this year. I mean, what are you going to consider a successful season?
I really just hope, and I think most people feel this way. Of course, you want to win games, but I want our girls to compete. I want us to understand that we're not the same team as we were last year. I mean, we had a solid bunch at 17-9, and those girls worked hard. And I feel like our work ethic is still there, and we still work hard. We're just not quite where we were last year in regards to athleticism and IQ of the game where we were last year. So, I'm hoping that we can compete in every game and give us a chance by the fourth quarter just to have a chance to win games. I feel like we have competitors, so that will help us. But the biggest thing is making sure that we can compete and give us chances.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time and appreciate that. Good luck to you this year. And I will be bugging you again.
Yes, sir, I appreciate it.
So thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you, Rusty, for highlighting the girls.
Ryan Reese, head coach at John Glenn, and we will be right back.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little portion. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Culver's Portside Marina handles all water and recreational needs. When it comes to pontoons, Godfrey leads the industry in performance and quality, and Portside Marina has them in stock. From Sanpan, Aqua Patio, Sweetwater, and Monaco pontoons, if you're looking for a family boat, Culver's Portside Marina can help. Discover the evolution of the wake boat through luxury models offered from Centurion and Supreme Surf Boats. Yamaha Wave Runners and Kawasaki jet skis are on the showroom floor waiting. Located at 514 West Mill Street in Culver. Stop in or call them at 574-842-5000. Culver's Portside Marina.
And joining us on the telephone now is Jeff Kaiser, head coach of the LaVille Lancers. I guess I should say sectional champion LaVille Lancers after last night. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, Rusty. Appreciate it. Well deserved. Work these boys have put in back in January on, and it's definitely one of the team goals they had, and we hope to continue this for sure. But last night was pretty special, and you just there's only 8 teams that were able to do that in 1A, and our Lancers were one of them. And I couldn't be more proud as a coach of players, the seniors especially, and then my staff, and then the community came out very strong last night. Parents and alumni, and there was a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time, and I always tell our guys, Rusty, before we take the field, and we have that type of environment that they're not there for me, and they've created that opportunity, for these people to come out and watch them, and it's time to put on a show. So again, just blessed that the senior class has shown the leadership, and we're still playing football at this point.
The show started early last night in the opening kickoff. You had control of that game from that moment on, it seemed.
Yeah, and we've talked, we've talked the last several weeks, and you've got to, in the game of high school football, you've got to get off to a fast start, set the tone, and then get the other team reeling just a little bit, and maybe out of their sync of what they had planned coming in, is very vital. We've been on the other side of that, and when you've been on the other side of that opening kickoff type thing, first quarter, when I'm telling the guys we can't start off slow, because we've lived that, right? You've lived that. You live and learn, right? Everything you do, you learn from, and each team has a different characteristic, and you got to adapt and adjust as a coach and as a staff to how the guy's going to respond. And I look back to week 2 when we got off that slow start over North Judson, and that's a learning curve for us as a program. So when I'm telling the guys we got to go fast start, because we know what's happened before. We've lived it. We've been the victim of that. So taking that opening kickoff back was huge, and it was Chase Lee, a senior of ours. That man, I mean, he's got speed. He's got great vision, and he showed it, and it was great to see and get off to that fast start for sure.
That was the first one, and I think the dagger though was the pick six. That was when it became evident it was going to be a long night.
Yeah. Connor Amore picked that off, and crucial time there, shortly before half, and anytime your defense can score, it's a blessing, right? And then in the first half, you have your special teams and defense score. I know our offense can score. So those were bonuses, right? And we talk about winning all 3 phases of the game. And, last night we were able to do that against, a team that came in with a pretty great record and had some good stat lines of what they were averaging. Their running back was averaging, how many points they were averaging and giving up. And, those are things that's billboard. And we kept telling the guys, they're coming in, this is what they have. What are we going to do about it? And, concentrated all week on 3 phases, and we played 3 phases last night.
Let's talk about that a little bit too, because they came in, they were putting up basketball numbers in points, and then their defensive average, they were just a little over 10 a game. I mean, you're talking about a team averaging 50 points scored and only giving up 10 in a game. They were only able to put one score on the board, and you guys just dominated the game.
Yeah, I mean, those numbers are definitely scary, and you can get caught up in the headlines of, the schedule comparisons and all that. And, we hear it. I mean, it's no secret. And, but one thing I was telling the guys is they're doing what they should to those teams. If their schedule is weak, they're putting 70 on the board. And anybody scoring 70 points, you're doing something.
Exactly.
I mean, it's uncommon, right? And so you're doing that in 48 minutes, and that's pretty impressive. And we're dealing with, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, Rusty, that are doing that. So they believe in what they're doing, and then defensively, they weren't giving up hardly anything. It was 11 points, 10 points, whatever it was. And so, we talked about that every day to the guys. And we challenged them. What are you going to do about it? And, we flipped those numbers on them last night, and we took care of business, and we got to move on. I think we showed last night we're the better team, we're the better program, and we got to continue that.
There were a couple of things last night, and I had my son with me. He's on the Plymouth staff, and he helped me out with the game last night, and he made a couple of comments. And the first thing that with him was, he says, you watch these guys on the sideline, somebody does something good, and they're all there. I mean, everybody is together. He says, everybody wants to do well. Everybody wants to have a good night and do your job, but, they're there for each other. And, that was the thing that stood out to him, was there wasn't anybody that wasn't celebrating somebody's good play or whatever. He says, those guys are there for each other, and that makes a huge difference.
Well, football's a big game of brotherhood, and we preach that. And I, ever since I've been here at LaVille, when I was assistant or now as HC, and we've really emphasized our scout players and how they prepare us and how important it is for them to stay engaged, to prepare us through the week for that Friday night. And then what we're doing on Friday night, they've helped get us there, right? And I'm a big stickler on praising our scout players, and there's kids that will give up, but their participation gets less when their JV schedule is done, right?
Yeah.
And so when that happens, it doesn't make us better at all on a Friday night. And so, we get on those guys, we praise those guys, we thank those guys every day for the work they're putting in, because it's not easy. I mean, it's not. And so, we have team award, we have scout players of the week, they get a team sticker on their helmet because they're helping the team. And, last week, the whole team got it. The whole scout team got that, Rusty. And, and to me, that's one of the biggest stickers you can earn.
Yeah.
Because that's the unforeseen things. And I'm not gonna lie, like I get on our guys to be up on the sideline. I mean, that's, and my staff does as well, but there's times I'll turn around the game. I say, get up, guys. I mean, we need everybody, and that's, in the locker room before we take the field, I tell the guys, everybody has a role in this tonight, and everybody's going to do their part. And if you're not on the field, you stay engaged off the field, right? And we definitely appreciate those kids. That's our future. They know that, and they're getting to experience the big games. And I just don't want them to be spectators. Those people are up in the stands, right? You're a big part of this program. And it's satisfying, when I see guys that are engaged and celebrating, and then, it's not a better comment hearing it from somebody from another program, and maybe the first time he's seen us play this year, and he's making that comment. So again, it goes unnoticed, and I'll definitely pass it along to my scout players, because that is very important.
The other thing that he commented on was, he says, and he said, this is why you win playoff games, is the physicality. Just over the top last night. I mean, you guys were roughing some people up. I mean, it was physical out there, and you were leading the charge.
Yeah. Again, that's something that you have to do. That's a mental part of the edge you can get is bring it to them. And then I'll say, like, I truly think that we're pretty physical. And I'm not going to sit here and say, we got, this, and this, but I will say as a unit on both sides of the ball, we do like to bang. And there's, I tell the guys, let's get the oh my factor going, and they definitely motor up, they amp it up on defense. And you get in tournament time when you're playing like that, There's a level of confidence for sure, right? And then that other team, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that West Central had never been in that position this year, you know, with their opponents, and it showed. There's numerous times there was 3, 4, 5 guys that are just barely getting up off the ground, you know. And that's a tribute to our guys and our weight program. And again, you know, the only way you can be physical is if you understand the schemes, you know, and expectations and playing assignment football. And I felt we did a really good job of that last night.
I thought they had a really unique offense. And watching them, I can see how they put up those kind of points. But, I mean, you talk about your scout team. Your guys didn't seem like they were seeing anything that they didn't know. There were times where I felt like your defenders were getting to the spot before their guys got to it. And, you know, your defense was prepared for what they were seeing.
Yeah, I mean, we don't, you know, when we script up things, we don't let any play go by, right? Even if if they ran it one time, because if they ran it once, they're going to run it again, right?
Yeah.
And so when we script up plays and schemes, we're putting our whole package together. And sometimes, you know, it seems like it's overkill, right? You have X amount of plays you're trying to prepare for and this and that, you know. But we put those in, you know, we put those in the binder and we're going to throw those at the guys. But the biggest thing you got to do is narrow down by formation what they're doing. And when you make adjustments, one thing I've learned over the years is when you make adjustments, you got to dictate, okay, I'm a 15, 16-year-old kid here. How am I going to understand where I need to line up? Right? Because we're changing things up by formation.
Yeah.
Whether sometimes you see it or not from the stands or whatever. How do I make it to where our guys understand that immediately and can play football? Because if you get it to where, oh, do I go here or do I go there? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? That creates the doubt. And when you have the doubt, now you're starting to play slower. You're starting to get beat a little bit, and that team that you have next to you might start doubting a little bit. Like, hey, how do you not know that? Right? So, you know, tribute to my staff and you know, the work we put in and how we scheme things, and, you know, position coaches knowing exactly what we need from, you know, myself as a D coordinator, what we're looking for getting out of this action, right? Out of our, you know, say it would be my secondary guys. What are we needing to shut down, and what are we flexing a little bit on? And if they get us with it, then we'll make the adjustment with this, right? So there's a lot to be said. And again, you know, the staff I have and able to translate to our kids and what's expected has been great so far this year.
You had plenty of guys to give game balls to. I mean, you got a lot of guys have really good nights. And, you know, we've talked about Braden Foster all year long, but, man, I'm telling you, there were a couple of times where, you know, you teach a running back, sometimes you just got to stick your foot in the ground and go north and south and get what you can get. I'm promising you, if I saw 76 standing in that hole, I think I'm going to the side. I might even take a knee. I don't think I want to take him on. And he made that clear last night. He was just, I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, Braden's going to bring it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And, you know, he's definitely a banger. He's the leader of our defense. It's no secret. The kid's so smart, and you see it, and, you know, the film study and him through the week, knowing by formations, a tendency, whatnot. But, you know, he brings the guys around him to that level, and they feed off him, and that's what you want a senior leader to do. You know, his goals are to go on and play, you know, college football. And there's no doubt in my mind that there's a program out there that's going to snag him up, and he's going to be successful on a Saturday. And I'm excited for him. And you know, he's put a lot of work in his program and a lot of dedication. And you know, it's just another one of those 10 seniors that just find a way. They just find a way. They're tight knit. They hang out together. They do, you know, there's just those things that, as a coach, you really like to see when they are hanging out outside of football or they're playing another sport together. And it's great to this point.
And I thought, you know, another guy that has gotten better every time I've seen him play, but I think he's improved even since I saw him in the Culver game a couple of weeks ago, is Stafford. I mean, he had a night. Do you have any numbers on him?
I don't have the final. I know he was over 200 yards, and I think he had 4 touchdowns. Cole's a kid that, you know, he gets in a rhythm and it goes. You know, and I'm going to say, you know, this, and I've talked about this from week one with you, Rusty, is our balance has created a lot of these opportunities, right? And, you know, Cole's 100% on health, and he's a true athlete. I mean, he can run, he's physical. He hardly ever comes off the field, but there was a couple runs last night. I mean, there's one late in the game. He found a corner and he turned it on, and I was whoa. The speed he had was just great. Again, you know, and I'm going to credit back that whole offense. You know, the line and having confidence in the line. You know, there's some times he got plugged up. You know, went for like a 1 yard loss, and I think a couple of them had like 2 yard loss or whatever. You know, and then the next play, you know, he's turning for 10. And that's just him having confidence in that line that, hey, okay, made a mistake, we're going to get the next one, right? And so that's stuff we weren't doing early on. And then so when he wasn't able to do that, it put a lot of pressure on our quarterback and Schwitz. You know, now you're going to have to make the plays throwing the ball, right?
Yeah.
And so the balance we have, you know, and you know, throwing the ball last night, you know, West Central did some things, and you know, we were a little off in the passing game, which is fine because the running game picked up the slack, right? And you know, people are going to look at the stat line, and you know, they know that Schwitz has had some great stats this year. I mean, phenomenal stats. You know, and they look at that game and be like, where was their passing game at, right? Yeah. But what they don't see is Schwitz is running that offense, right? He's communicating in the huddle. He's breaking for the formations, right? If something's going wrong, he'll own up he makes a mistake. You know, he's not putting the blame on anybody else. I don't know if I've ever seen him point a finger at somebody that's your fault, right? He'll take it. And that's the leadership. And so Cole being able to go for over 200 yards, right? Sure, Cole had the great effort. He ran extremely hard, very aggressive, okay? But we had 5 guys in front of him that were doing their job, right? I had a quarterback that was orchestrating that offense and lining guys up right and making sure we're trying. I mean, you know, again, we're dealing with kids, Rusty. From the time that, you know, Rosen calls the play in, you hope he doesn't mess it up going to the huddle, right? He hopes his communication is clear enough that they understand what the play is. So there's a lot to be said about our offensive unit. And last night, you know, Cole put the exclamation point on it. And that's what he's capable of doing. And you know, we're just going to need that continued effort moving forward.
The thing that impressed me about him, you watch him, the only way I can get this in my head, I'm a baseball guy. You have a great outfielder, and a ball gets hit in the gap, and you think, God, he's going to have to get on his horse, and the guy just kind of glides there and makes it look easy. That's what he looked like running last night. He was patient. He just kind of would glide to a spot, and boom. I mean, it was interesting to watch because he made it look like it was easy. Like he wasn't even breaking a sweat on it, and you knew he was. But yeah, I thought that was fun to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, being on the field watching it as well, and there's times you're like, "They going to run, you got to run," you know. But then you turn around and you watch it on. Yeah, and you turn around and watch it on film, and they're like, "Well, I guess he was moving there. It just seemed like it was slow motion, right?" But you know, he's a humble kid. You know, whether he goes for, you know, 200 yards or he goes for 80 yards, Cole's the same Cole. You know, he's just going to keep working and do it. You know, his numbers called upon. He's going to do his job. And you know, again, it's a senior doing what a senior should do in championship game, right?
Yeah.
So, and the seniors have been in these big games. So, just blessed with the crew we have, and you know, we get another week to work with them, and you know, we're gonna break down film and you know, critique some things and short some things up, and you know, board that bus down to Royal Center and try to get in the regional championship.
You mentioned him earlier, your line, and that was another thing that Benji brought up was just, you know, it's easy to be Cole Stafford when you got guys doing the things your linemen were doing last night. I mean, you talk about winning that side of the ball. They were totally in command of the trenches. They won almost every battle.
Yeah. And you know, we really put some emphasis on that mid-season, and I talked to you again on the radio through the year, and we got to figure out what we're doing up front. And we moved some guys around. We think we got the chemistry, together. Guys that communicate well next to one another instead of, every other guy per se. And so we have that line working as a unit. And of course, when you're winning and you're doing things, they should be playing a little more aggressive, right? They should be a little bit faster. But those guys have really, really responded to this point. Whether it be, a couple seniors that are on there, and got freshmen on there, and got sophomore on there. I mean, it's a mixture. And those guys have really I think they kind of took it on the chin a little bit, Rusty, because we've been known as a running school, right? And there's a few games there. Our running game was nothing. And, it's like, you going to win games, you got to have both. And they finally started figuring it out. And, as a staff, we broke some things down and concentrated a little bit more on some fundamental things. And, they're definitely a big reason of why we're still playing, for sure.
Let's talk a little bit about this week coming up. I mean, Pioneer, you got to go there. That's not only a long drive, it's really a tough place to play. But we talked earlier in the week. You've been this year alone, you played at Jimtown, at Tippecanoe Valley, twice at North Judson. Those are some of the hardest places to win a football game as well. You got to feel like that experience is going to help you on Friday.
Oh, 100%. That's priceless. We won some big games on the road, and, we proved we can win on the road. And so, if we hadn't won some of those games, there might be a little bit of, what team's going to show up when we get on that bus, right? But, I think that, we've been prepared and we've won those games on the road that have meant something, no different than what this is going to be. We're traveling to a school that we're, for the most part, we're familiar with. It's been a couple of years since we played them, but, we know the scene down there. We know the walk from the locker room out to the field, what it's going to be. We're not going to get off the bus and be like, wow, it's the first time I've ever been here, and let's get acquainted to some things first, right? That's not going to be the case. And, we beat Pioneer before. They beat us before. It's not like it's a program that we've never had success against. We've had postseason success against them. But they're playing really good football. Those guys, last time we played them, were freshmen, sophomores. Now they're, juniors and seniors. And so they've won some big games, but our seniors and our juniors have won big games as well. So it's going to be, we're both playing for a reason. Yeah. And that's because we're playing good football, and well coached. And, I got a lot of respect for Coach Barry down there and what he's done through his career and the athletes they've developed. And, but I'll tell you one thing, we're going to work hard this week and we're not going to shy away. And I'll promise you that, we're healthy, which this point in the season is a blessing, especially in 1A football. Our guys aren't satisfied. They want more. And I seen it last night in the final minutes of that game. They don't want this to end, nor does any of the staff, nor does the community. But we're going to play some good football. Here's the thing. We don't have to play like we've never played before to beat these guys. We just got to play disciplined, hard-nosed football, do our assignments, right, and step on that field confident. And we just won the same piece of hardware they won. We're fighting to extend our season, to get another trophy, and to play 48 minutes and try getting down south. That's where it's at, and we're down to the Elite Eight. And you're 48 minutes of getting away from the Final Four. And you got a team that we've had success against before. We're going to go against an offense that we've seen before. We're going to go against basically it's our defense that they play. Back to the offensive side, they run probably one of the best wing T offenses you're going to see. I mean, they've ran that for years. They run really, really well. But it's all about assignment football. So, we know what their uniforms look like, Rusty. We know what the environment's going to be. We know what offense. We know what defense. So why not, right? Why not let us go out there and go get that win? And I'm excited to get back to work. I've watched the film on them last night, this morning, and it's no secret what they're going to do. And I have utmost faith in our guys that they're going to have a great week of practice. They're going to be confident, and we're going to go out with a chip on our shoulder to still try proving some things to people who have doubted us. And we just got a great opportunity that these kids have created, and we're just going to continue to get better.
Well, man, have that good week of practice. We'll be there Friday, too. That'll be our game of the week. You guys down at Royal Center and taking on Pioneer. And I'm sure I'll be bugging you during the week to get out to practice again.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. If you're bugging me, we're still playing ball. And,
yeah, well, I'm happy with that, too, man. I love covering football.
Yep. Thanks, Rusty, and thanks to the community coming out and supporting our boys. And hopefully they make the road trip and we can go down there and do something special. It's been since 1982 since LaVille's won a regional. So that's definitely a number we're going to have in our head, and we're going to try, changing that history up a little bit.
Thanks for taking the time, man. I appreciate it, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks, Rusty. Go Blue.
That's Jim Kaiser, head football coach at LaVille. We'll take a break. We'll come back with one of his players. We got Braden Foster on up next. He's our Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week, so stay tuned for that.
At Marshall County REMC, they are more than just your electric provider. They're your neighbors, your partners, and your connection to a brighter future. Since 1936, they have been powering homes, farms, and businesses with reliable service, innovative energy solutions, and a commitment to our community that never wavers. It's not just about keeping the lights on. It's about keeping our community strong. Marshall County REMC, powering progress, powering you. Learn more at marshallremc.com.
McDonald's restaurants in Plymouth and Bremen, Indiana are now owned and operated by local residents Bill and Flo Bolt. Bolt Enterprises are proud to own and operate all 4 McDonald's restaurants in Marshall County. Become part of the McDonald's family today with Bolt Enterprises McDonald's.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank, we don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927.
And we're joined by our Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week. It is Braden Foster from LaVille. Man, congratulations. You had a great game last week.
Thank you. It's just an honor to be honored with this. Tony was a great guy. He always came up and shared the love with me. So
Man, we're going to share the love with you, too. I mean, the simple fact of the matter is, this is as much about your season as it is about last week. You've just had that kind of a senior year. You got to feel good about what you've achieved.
Yeah, I feel good about what I achieved, but I'm going to feel better about what we achieve on Friday. It's a team game. We play to win. So.
Talk about your guys. I mean, I've been out here to practice a couple of times. It seems like you just got that bunch like being around each other.
Yes, sir. We all love each other. It's a family out here, so I wouldn't be around any other guys. They're my family.
You like defense better or offense?
I'm a defensive player. I love defense so much better. I love tackling people.
What is it about defense? Is it just the physicality?
Oh, I love being physical. I love hitting people. It lets me get my rage out,
When did you start playing football?
I started in 4th grade. I moved from Plymouth to here and had a great group of coaches my 4th grade year. They just made me fall in love with the game even more.
So you played in that kind of like junior league that they have here?
Yes, sir. County? Junior league all the way up into middle school with John Mumm, and then with these guys my freshman year. It's amazing.
You ever done any other sports? I mean, what other sports you do?
I do basketball and baseball. I've done basketball since 6th grade. My cousin talked me into that, and then baseball I've been doing since like 2nd grade in Pee Wee League over in Plymouth. It was amazing.
Okay, you're talking to a baseball guy, so football obviously is your love, though.
Yes, I love football so much. It's my favorite sport for sure.
What is it about football that attracts you? Just, once again, the physicality?
Yeah, the physicality, and then I feel like it's more of a brotherhood in football. There's 11 guys out there that you have to trust. It's more of a team sport than any other sport that I play.
Let's talk about you a little bit. I mean, you got a family. Tell me your mom and dad's names, your brothers and sisters.
So my mom and dad are Nick and Jeannie Foster, and then I got 4 siblings. I got 2 off in college, Brooklyn and Jasmine, and then 2 younger ones, Kinsey and Cameron. They're still in school, so big family, but we make do.
No competition at home, I'm sure.
Oh, it's so competitive at home. Game night gets crazy.
Do you have to fight for food at the dinner table? Is it that bad?
No. My mom makes a ton of food. She's a great cook.
Let's talk about school. Do you have a favorite subject in school?
I really like social studies, like history and stuff. My teachers in that area have been like great over the years, so that's probably one of my favorite subjects.
You're talking to a history major here too. When I was in college, there's nothing better than that. What's your favorite period in history?
Period. Like
American history.
Oh, I got you.
European history.
American history, definitely. I took the ACP class with Miss Jody Kaiser. She's amazing, and I wouldn't rather take it with any other teacher. It's my favorite class.
Have you thought about college yet? Are you going to go?
Yeah, I'm planning on going to college. Planning on playing somewhere. I don't know where yet, so that's going to be interesting to see who wants me. But definitely think about college.
So you're just going to kind of sort that out as it goes along,
for sure.
Talk about what you want to do. I mean, eventually football is going to be over.
Right.
I mean, what do you want to do when you're done?
Right now I'm thinking about going into architecture and like building houses and stuff. I think that's cool, and like the process to make it. I work construction now, so I know a little bit about building it, so I want to design them for people.
I got 2 sons in construction. You could do a lot worse than that, man.
Yeah.
They both make more money than I do.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Well, man, congratulations to you. I appreciate it, and thanks for spending time with us, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
MCF got its start in 2018 with one goal: bring fast, reliable fiber internet to Marshall County. Today, we offer lightning fast speeds, equal upload and download with no contracts and no install fees. Whether you're working from home or streaming all night, Marshall County Fiber keeps you connected. We might be the new kid on the block, but we're growing fast, just like our internet. Visit marshallfiber.com or call 574-223-2191. MCF, making rural connections possible.
Looking for a stable career in an industry that doesn't slow down? Hoosier Racing Tire in Plymouth, Indiana is seeking motivated people who believe in quality and want to work in a safe environment. With thorough training provided for all positions, no experience needed. Second, third, and weekend shift production wages start around $20 an hour, with potential at $25 an hour within a year. Quarterly bonuses, paid time off, and health insurance benefits that start on day 1. Apply online at HoosierTire.com. That's HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Tire is an equal opportunity employer.
And it's time to announce this week's Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week. It's given in honor of our longtime comrade, Marshall County broadcaster, Max 98.3's Tony Ross, who died almost exactly a year ago, long before his time, and we try to honor who he was. Dedication to what he did was unmatched. Work ethic was unmatched. Devotion, especially to the athletes and coaches in this area, and that will never be matched either. And we honor that legacy each week with this award, and we'll tell you who it is this week right after a word from Johnson Danielson.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
And this week's winner, 2 weeks in a row for a LaVille Lancer football player. You heard Coach Kaiser talking about him a little bit earlier. Cole Stafford, over 200 yards, 4 touchdowns, and Cole is our Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week this week. He'll receive a certificate, a history of the award, and a T-shirt commemorating that achievement. And he'll also be a future guest, hopefully next Saturday morning on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Cole is eligible now for the Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Year award as well, given out later this spring. And that carries a plaque and a college scholarship with it. Compliments of Max 98.3 and Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Tony the Boss Ross, Max 98.3 Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Johnson Danielson Funeral Home of Plymouth. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Join us next week. We'll be talking more basketball. Obviously, we'll talk with Jeff Kaiser again. And don't forget, Friday, the Max 98.3 Game of the Week. We will be at Royal Center, Indiana, regional football action. The LaVille Lancers will take on Pioneer in that title game. And we'll be there for all the play-by-play action. I haven't checked times yet, but I'm assuming we'll go at 6:30 as usual, 7 o'clock our kickoff, and look forward to seeing you then. That's going to do it for this week. Thanks for listening. Have yourselves a great weekend.